Clair Obscur. Expedition 33 patch is a big one. Nerfs Maelle's game-breaking Stendhal build. Clair Obscur. Expedition 33 developer Sandfall Interactive has released patch 1.2.3 for its well-received role-playing game across all platforms. Sandfall Interactive announced Thursday that Clair Obscur, Expedition 33's multi-billion damage Maelle builds are ending. The 1.2.3 patch notes are filled with other bug fixes and scaling adjustments, but the Stendhal ability's whopping 40% damage nerf is stealing the show. The update makes a long list of fixes and, crucially, balance changes, including nerfing Clair Obscur's most game-breaking build. Sandfall explained the reasoning for the change, with replies torn between support, sadness, and criticism. "We still want you to be able to break the game, and you absolutely still can," the post reads. But Stendhal is making it a bit too easy. Sandfall had signaled this change was coming, saying it hadn't planned to make any balance tweaks this early, just bug fixes, unless something clearly stood out. Well, Stendhal did, the developer continued. Some folks in the replies wondered whether a change like this is necessary for a single-player RPG. Overpowered weapons, playstyles, and skills are optional in a single-player context. But the best argument in favor of the nerf is how easy Stendhal is to access. Clair Obscur. Expedition 33 Update 1.2.3 Patch Notes. Steam Deck. Fixed backgrounds of various menus not displaying properly on the Steam Deck. Various ultra-wide fixes. Gameplay no longer becomes zoomed after a cutscene occurs in ultra-wide resolutions. The options menu image will no longer be stretched in ultra-wide resolutions. Combat UI now adapts correctly to ultra-wide resolutions. Game will no longer minimize upon changing settings in ultra-wide resolution. Cutscenes won't letterbox in 32:9 aspect ratio. Title screen now displays full screen when the game is launched in ultra-wide resolution. Mouse and keyboard. UI button prompts in Expedition menu are now visible and fully able to be triggered with keyboard. Mouse buttons do not become unresponsive after first use. With mouse cursor on screen, using WSAD or directional arrows to navigate in UI or trigger any other functionality will no longer hide the cursor instead of doing the intended action. Left mouse button click will no longer block the player from using keyboard to navigate menus. Mouse input is not lost after the first jump counterattack if it is pressed only once. Fixed areas of the world map where you can get stuck. Between lanterns scattered on the ground near Stone Wave Cliff Portal. While walking on the shipwreck near the Forgotten Battlefield level entrance. Between lanterns on the ground near Burgeon Encounter next to Stone Wave Cliffs level. Between two small rocks located between Spring Meadows and Abaist Cave. Between vases and corals when jumping from rooftops. Between various rocks. In ruins behind Flying Manor level entrance. Near the bridge between Flying Waters and Spring Meadows. In the rocks on the world map, near Flying Waters. Next to Hardened Land, close to the Flying Waters location exit. Fix situations where Esqui specifically would get stuck. Poor guy. When taking off from paint bridges, making him fall through the bridge and restrict movement. When flying into bottom parts of levitating structures near visages. Near the Flying Waters entrance level. Near a giant hammer when traversing close to Blade's graveyard level. Weapon and skill fixes and tuning. Fixed live limb attribute scaling not working at high level. Reduced initial vitality scaling from A to C will still end at S at max level. Added luck scaling starting at D. Fixed Blizzard attribute scaling not working at high level. Reduced initial luck scaling from B to C will still end at S at max level. Added defense scaling starting at D. Fixed Medallium Third Lumina doubling all damage in Virtuos stance instead of doubling only burn damage. Stendhal. Reduced damage by 40%. Other fixes. Boss encounter in Stone Wave Cliffs can now be finished on NG+. You will no longer be blocked by the Journal UI window after opening the first journal in the Spring Meadows. Fix being unable to shoot in free aim while exploring levels due to worn triggers. Loon and Minoko no longer spawn in same place during end of their level 6 relationship quests if they are completed without going to camp. If at camp you pick, remember the objective, then quickly choose to go to sleep, and immediately after press leave. The screen no longer goes black. You can no longer trigger the Discovering the Truth cutscene in Old Lumiere a second time in a row, splitting the party forever with only Verso and Maelle in it. Update to rolling credits.